The Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilizes the mode, that's the MR code. Hey! We growing, we know it.
Barbadians, hear me now. If I hear a barrel could talk today, I got something to say. Why? Raise your flag, but open your eyes. If I borrow and to speak today, what I see would break my heart away. Nothing changed, just a mirror frame, same corruption, just a brand new name. My people, I'm sad to say, you reaping all you sow today. The pride and industry fade away, and now we fighting to find we way. I fought two extremes, I tell you so. Hope and hunger, high and low. Poverty mixing with champagne flow, but poor man still can't grow. Suffering and celebrating, starving while them still partaking. Nations rise, time to break that spell. Stop showing contempt for yourself. To say you can't change when thieves lead the way. Corruption sweet when give us pay, and government take what poor man lay. Taxation high like mountain peak, while schools and roads still spring a leak. Them flying high, them living sleek, but poor man vice still 2 weeks. So tell me now, who you blaming? Who make the system shaming? Them raise the dead, destroy the cane. No migration is the pain. You be leaders like the clay, and now me are playing God today. Talking sweet but turn away from the people who make she laugh, she bend and smile she wear like she care, but she can't share. You think she love, you think she fair, or she trying to run you from here? Everyone watching from up above. Barbadians where the unity and love we used to build, we used to fight. Now we just beg and say alright. Let we rise again, take back pride, build Barbados from inside. And Aaron, gone back to sleep again. Aaron, but I pray next time I wake, my people go rise, rise, I say. Bim Shar still alive. Boy, you sell it. Boy, you sell it. Bims are still alive. We just need to revive. Bims are still alive. We just need to revive.
The Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilizes the mode, that's the MR code. Hey! We growing, we know it.
Yes. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. And tonight we have a great program lined up for you. I have in my hand the national flag of Barbados. Oh my goodness. I tell you, it is a great night. We are celebrating this great country. And earlier you heard the national anthem of Barbados. Guys, because here on the Marcia Weekes Show, we do this for the love of country. for love of country, folks. It is a wonderful night. Tonight is Monday, January 5th, 5 days into the new year. 5 days into the new year. How is everybody out there doing? How is everybody out there doing? Judy said, I didn't say hello last night. Last night I came on, man. I was on a mission. Oh my goodness. Hi, Judy. Good night. Happy New Year. Teroni. Esther Blue. Good night. Good night, Esther Blue. The loyal opposition family, she said, stay focused and alert. Mavis Lashley, good night. Cedric Strawn, how are you? Daniel, happy New Year. Remember, what are we doing this year? What we're doing this year, we are embracing our valleys and we're speaking life into 2026. Anybody said something good to themselves today? Did anybody say, look in the mirror and say something good to themselves, or just spoke into the day? I got up and I said, today is going to be a great day. And I had a great day. Anybody out there remember what we talked about last night? Hey, Bajan Boy, good night. Lucinda Allen, good night. Andrea, did you speak life to anything today? Remember, we're not going to be just complaining, but we're going to speak what we want to see. And we're going to do that tonight in this first part of the show. I want you to begin to think about what you want to speak over Barbados. Yes? Remember what we said last night? We speak and then God brings the breath and brings life to it. All right? So that's what we're going to be doing. Sylvia Rock, Giant Faith, Ronald Archer. Speaking life into what we perceive as dead in our lives. What was dead? And remember, what was dead in 2025, is really what is going to be used to cause you to grow in 2026. It's those things that you gave up on. Those things that frustrated you. Those things that got you so, feeling hopeless and disillusioned. It's those things that, as they felt like, dead. But we talked about that in gardening, that once you have those dead leaves and the things that are rotting, then it's out of that. Oh my goodness, that soil is the best soil, That is the best soil. So you are going into 2026 with good soil. So expect something great in this year. Expect that you're going to produce great things in this year. Yes, great things. Shirley, Mildred, Lori, Bob, great things. I'm a big girl, great things. Sherry Berry, great things in 2026. Great things. Diana Husbands, great things this year. Anybody else believing for great things? I am a big girl. I called you already. Cammy. Hey, Cammy. Cammy, I have something for you. Call me. Call me, Cammy. Jacqueline, how you doing? How you doing, my Filipino girl? Princess girl. Ray Virgin. Ray is watching from the U.S. I don't know if he's still in Atlanta. Let me know. Sir Alfred Benjamin is in Brooklyn, locked on from Brooklyn, New York City. Hey. Cynthia Thorpe. Hello. Patricia Green. Hello. Oh my goodness. Happy New Year to every single one of you. Now, before you tell me what it is that you are speaking life into for 2026. I'm going to tell you your personal business, but this is now for the country. What is it that you are speaking life into? What do you want to say over Barbados that would bring life to Barbados? Remember that from that scripture that we read, that Bible Sunday school thing that we did, right, from when we were little children. And it said that, that Ezekiel, was told to speak. You speak to the bones. And he spoke, and then God brought the breath. Is there anything in Barbados that you are thinking, you know what? I want to see this change, and I am going to speak life into this particular thing. Ray's watching from Atlanta. That's one of our um, film partners there. I'm a big girl says, I speak Jesus over my nation. Anybody else? Anything, any particular thing that you want to speak life into over Barbados? Yeah. Yes. While we think of what that is, let me just use this opportunity to thank. There is an establishment here in St. Philip who helped us today with a pensioner. So, one of the things that we do here on the Marcia Weekes Show, we do help, families, individuals, when we're able to, because it's from ourselves. We don't have any big company helping, etc. However, this particular restaurant, heard what we were talking about. It's called the Cock and Bull restaurant, and it's a beautiful place, and we actually went there today to get something for a pensioner who needed some help today. And it's located in St. Philip. They're Rice's Methodist, and I want to big them up because I'm speaking life into them tonight. The Cock and Bull Bar Grill, okay? And let me tell you, the food looks amazing. I plan to go back there because it's close, it's kind of close to where I am. And so we plan to go and to support them because they're supporting pensioners. They're supporting people who are in need. And so thank you to the others that I wouldn't go to try to call your names, because we don't do that on the show. But this is an establishment. And so I wanted to use the opportunity to thank this establishment this evening for being there and being supportive with a nice, clean place, friendly staff. There at the Cock and Bull restaurant, if they could put up back their logo, etc. And they're at right near to Rice's Methodist Church there in St. Philip, and please support them. Go and buy a meal, get a drink, support them. Yeah, support them. You're in St. Philip, go and pick up a soda, buy something from them because very kind people there. Met with them, talked to them. They watch the show every night. There's a wonderful husband and wife team there, and they watch the show every night. And they didn't ask me to do this at all. And, yes, that's true. Andrew said we need to bring back the love and care for people of this country, not only for the love of money and things. Yes. And so I wanted to read what the pensioner said to all of us. Some of you, yourselves who I reached out to, and and we had a little left back from Christmas, and so we were able to put it all together and do something really, really, really special for that pensioner today, and I'm excited about that. And so the pensioner wrote and said, I thank you all so much. I really appreciate everything you did and all who contribute. I thank them also. It brought tears to my eyes, but I am truly thankful. She says, I don't want to say on the show tonight, but I thank you all, everyone. And I told her, you don't need to come on to say anything, right? And she says that she prays for us and so on. And doesn't that feel great, guys? This is for the love of country, And when we say we love Barbados, Andrea, it's the people in Barbados. You understand, Barbados is really the people. So we can't say we love Barbados and there is a need and, we don't help. So to everybody, and I got this message this morning. this morning and just saying my pension check is not coming right now. I need help, all of that, and so we're able to reach out and to help. And you know what? You know what, folks? That's how we're rolling in 2026. We are going to share. Today, somebody even sent me a gift, and I said to Dave, I'm going to share this gift. And I'm saying it not because, the scripture says when you do your good, you're to put it, do it quietly, etc. However, when people give me money, especially when I collect it on the show, that's when I would take the camera and I will show you that I'm purchasing it, especially when I do a public ask and we raise money publicly, like when we did the refrigerator and the stove and some things we did in Christmas. Then because I did it on the show, then that's why I would take the camera, but not we try our best, one or two times, the face of the person might be seen, but that's not our intention. Right? The intent is always to keep that person away from the camera. As I told the lady in St. Philip today, there was no need to go there. With a camera, I didn't do it publicly. I went quietly, but I wanted to thank Cock and Bull Restaurant, okay? And for helping out those of you, especially in St. Philip, please go and see them. Call me for the number and go and see them and purchase something from them. All right. Now, let's go now. This is the fun part. Andrea Critchlow says, we're speaking life into our country. This is all for the love of country right now. We're speaking life into our country. And Andrea Critchlow, hey, Andrea, says, I speak prosperity, abundance, unity, and new leaders that will bring life back to our island and have integrity in everything they do. Wow, that's what Andrea is speaking. M. Gardner says, I speak. She's calling for leaders who will represent righteousness and holiness, not wickedness and evil. That's what she's speaking for. That's what she's believing for. Okay. Jacqueline says, I'm wishing blessings and abundance with everyone I see. Yes. Anybody else want to speak something over the country? Paul Messiah, we were trying to be positive, but anyway, I'll read it. He says, I speak shame to the integrity bill. May those who held it back be voted out. Yes. Somebody says, I speak love over Barbados. When was the last time you blessed your enemies? Anybody on here, you bless your enemies? When last did you pray and say, God, I bless my enemies? Sherry Berry is speaking integrity and love over the country. I mean, that's maybe Ashley. Love and unity. Judy Jill says, I speak that the DLP will get in and I will be overjoyed. Yes. Any more? Anybody else? Let's take just a couple more of us speaking life into what we want to see. We're saying what we want to see. We're not saying what we see. Let's say what we want to see, not saying what we see. Yes. Be positive. Be positive. Speak something positive. Say something positive. Say it. Say it. Say it over your own life and say it over the country. Yes. All right. Now, how many of you watched the press conference today? Jacqueline, did you watch the press conference? This is the Democratic Labour Party press conference, and this was held at the leader of the opposition's office. Monica says she speaks peace and love among the people. There's too much hate in this little Barbados. Yes, Shirley watched and Pamela watched. Oh, anybody, if you watched, okay. Yes, Celia watched. Okay. From beginning to end. Okay, Sterling watch. Yes, okay. Now, that press conference, the content of that press conference, I mean, really and truly, when you listen to that, you know, you have to, wow, that was powerful. That was powerful. What were your thoughts of it? What stood out the most for you in that press conference? What stood out for you? Let's take a little time while I wait on my guest. We're going to review the DLP press conference today. I think Dave has a little clip. Yes, Dave, you want to go ahead and play that little clip?
Officers have said repeatedly that a lot of the violence is rooted in gang activity. If that is so, why is this government so afraid of anti-gang legislation? When Trinidad was not afraid, they have it. When Jamaica was not afraid, they have it. When St. Kitts was not afraid, they have it. I think the Bahamas may have it as well. And I think Antigua may have it. They're about Turks and Caicos, they have it as well. So that there are about 5 or 6 countries in the Caribbean that have been similarly afflicted by violence. It is proven that that violence is related to the existence of gangs. Those countries have passed anti-gang legislation. This government has previously promised to pass anti-gang legislation, but they have not. I asked the people of Barbados to ask this government, why the reluctance to pass anti-gang legislation? And I say to the Prime Minister, anti-terrorism legislation is inappropriate. It will not go to the heart nor the root of the problem. I say it is a diversion, it is a distraction from the real issue. Government, please bring yourself to pass anti-gang legislation to protect the people of this country and to protect young men who may be lured into activity. We have to have the courage not only to say it, but we have to have the courage to do it. Because this country is spiraling out of control. The violence, there's an explanation for the violence. There's a reason for the violence. The government does not go out there firing guns. So in that way, you can't blame the government, but the government has a responsibility. The government has an executive and legislative responsibility to deal with the issue of crime in this country. The government is failing this country by its refusal to bring proper and legislation before the parliament. Why is the government so afraid, though?
Yeah, why is the government so afraid? I thought that was a highlight. Thank you, Dave, for that. And we're going to have a few of the others. I thought that was a highlight. Let's talk about the anti-gang legislation. And truthfully, it's in Bahamas, it's in Trinidad, it's in Jamaica. It's in, I believe it's Belize. I was just here. I looked up all the countries today. And, I was just checking that right now. But folks, why do you think that we don't have anti-gang legislation in Barbados? What do you think, first of all, what do you think would be the benefit of the anti-gang legislation? Anybody? what would be the benefit of having the anti-gang legislation? Come on, talk to me tonight. If these different countries they did it, why do you think it's important, or do you think it's important? That probably should be the first question. Anybody? Tanisha says, why is bringing a terrorism law? We don't have terrorists. We have gangs. Yeah, that's correct. We have gangs. Listen, the comment section is funny. Somebody said of Mr. Thorne that I see a leadership that knows where he wants to take the country, which is wholesome, and a country that live without fear. Anybody. Okay, Joshua says that the anti-gang legislation would deter people from getting involved in gangs. Okay. Anybody else? Now, one of the things, as you think about it, one of the things that, the anti-gang legislation would do, the anti-gang legislation would allow the state to punish not just the young men that they catch, on the street with a gun, right? It's not with possession of a firearm. It wouldn't just be them, but an anti-gang legislation would allow the government to punish the network. So we would be going after the network and not just the single individuals that we might catch with a gun, right? That is held with a firearm, okay, or ammunition. So right now, Barbados mostly punishes the possession of guns. The anti-gang legislation would allow the government to punish the network. You see the difference? So the anti-gang legislation would allow the government to target leadership. And this is why I think what Mr. Thorne is proposing, it's not the end all, and it's not the only thing. Anti-gang legislation would have to be coupled with many other things. But I think it would be a turn, it will help us to turn the corner, because we would not just be, targeting foot soldiers, but we'd be targeting leadership, right? You see what I'm saying? So once the anti-gang legislation comes into play, you're not just going to charge, as I keep saying, for possession, that one person, but you can charge people for directing gang activity. So you might not have a gun, you might not have ammunition, but you are involved in directing gang activity, recruiting members. Are you involved in financing or supplying gangs? And when you are going to see, you're going to probably, by going through this, we are going to be able to see possibly why this government refuses to pass the anti-gang legislation, but has escalated this thing and said it's terrorism, which by no stretch of any definition is a terrorism. Based on the definition of terrorism. So the anti-gang legislation would allow the court to charge people for harboring or assisting gang members, organizing transport of guns and ammunition, right? So it's not just that young man, our children, the black boy that is holding the weapon. It will not just be the black boy that is holding the weapon. Because right now, there are some people in this country that don't look like us, and they are profiting quietly. There are some people who are profiting quietly. So what Thorn is suggesting, what Thorn is advocating for, suggesting it's a small is too much of a soft word. What he's advocating for the anti-gang legislation would go after those who profit quietly. See? Who are those collecting payments? Who are those who are providing protection? Who are those arranging transport? I am being told that some of the minibuses are used to transport ammunition. Who, if that is so, who owns the minibuses? Majority of the minibuses in Barbados, who own them? Let me check the comment section. Let's be real. If we're either going to be doing this thing or we're not. Tanisha says passing the anti-gang law would step on friends' toes. Who owns, I'm not going to put it up on here, but you know who owns the minibuses. So those people are to remain untouched. The people who are profiting silently. There are some people in this country who they don't look like you and I, and they are profiting silently from this criminal activity in this country. Why don't they go after them? The anti-gang legislation is not foolproof. It's not foolproof, but I am telling you, it is a turn around the corner. These people profit silently. Silently. Nobody for them dead. You never see one of them who hair don't look like mine and skin don't look like mine lay down in the ground outside from a gunshot wound. Anybody has ever seen that? When was the last time you saw that? In fact, there was one of them that they caught with guns. And as far as what I hear from my little friends, he went in the morning and out the evening. Never slept a night in jail. He got bail quick and out. At home, watching TV, they said when they went there. Not our little black ones, though. Not our black children. So that person who can profit quietly, this anti-gang legislation has the potential to go after them. It attacks the money flow. Government of Barbados, why is it you do not want to attack the money flow? Tell the people of Barbados why you do not want to attack the money flow. Is it that you are part of the money flow? It's a question, government. Are you part of the money flow? Are you participating? Are you facilitating? Is there anybody in government profiting? Right now, we are mainly charging people. People are mainly going to jail for possession. Let me see if I get any comments there. Yes, they're getting involved in all sectors of society in this country. And they are treated way better than us. They are allowed to break the law. Whatever they go into, whatever industry, they basically do the hell whatever they want to do. Nobody checks them. Because they got this. They have this. This is what they have reduced our government to. This. We are under a corrupt government. We are always the customers, the consumers. I wish there was a way to sit down and talk to our young people from this standpoint, and they recognize it's their blood that is spilling in the streets. You think you're going to catch one of them on that cruise? How many? Tell me how many of them you counted on that cruise. All it is that we changed slave drivers. We changed slave drivers from the white man to these people. What is wrong with us? And we have a government, a black government in this country that refuses to do the right thing by its black populace. It's black citizens. And you're just joining and you're going to go away. Some of you are going to write me, Marcia, you're preaching racism. No. I'm talking about inequality. Inequality. We become the foot soldiers of the corruption. We are the foot soldiers of the corruption. Our children that we breed, that comes out of us black women. It's our children become the foot soldiers of this corrupt state. We are living in a corrupt state. When we are the only ones dying on the road, shot in a pool of blood, you see the black boys lay down, curl up in a fetal position, with a little prinkly hair. They're cut off jeans, no shirt. Whose children are there? There. It is time we get mad in this country. It is time we say, listen, we're going to take the war to them. Listen, I can talk to the black men, but I want to talk to black women who birth these children. It's time we make up our mind. We ain't taking this anymore. And I'm not trying to say that, I know some of you, it starts at the home. We are here talking. Come on, guys, as we said last night. We are talking now at a macro level. We're talking governance. We're talking legislation. We're talking policy. Why do they get all the breaks in this country? when the anti-gang legislation is passed and proclaimed, which will happen, I believe, how many believe that if Mr. Thorne comes in, gets into power, that this legislation would be passed and proclaimed? How many of you believe that? And I'm telling you, whoever is there, we're going to advocate. And I think that this is something that we need to hit the streets for. Look at this picture. Who you see in the picture? Who are the ones coming off this police in this police car? Your children. Your children. You see their little faces? Our children, women, black women, come on. Come on, black women. Absolutely not. I look at some of these. I see Mr. Bob there. Mr. Bob, let me know if you're ready to come in. I see some of our children there, and I look at them. I've been here 26 years, Mr. Bob. Good night. I've been here 26 years, and I look at some of these young people, Mr. Bob, and they don't even look like Barbadians. And you say, Marcia, what do you mean they don't look like Barbadians? They just don't look. When I was in college, in college, I was in York University in the U.S., I would sit down in the cafeteria, Mr. Bob, and I could tell who were the Bajans, who is Haitian, who is Jamaican, who is, you understand, just the look of the people. And I go into town, sometimes it tears. I look at these young men. I look at her. They don't look like, they look wild. Mr. Bob, you know, we're talking here about the anti-gang legislation. We were going through reviewing the press conference of Mr. Thorne, and so we were talking about the anti-gang legislation. Folks, I need you to share this. This is a family talk we're having tonight. We're having family talk tonight, and we are. So you need to share it, please. Take a moment and share it in your WhatsApp groups. Have you done that? Share it in your WhatsApp groups. Share it on your Facebook. Share it to your friends and family. Have you done that yet? Yeah. Before yes, I know Dave has a clip on the transport board, but I want to stay here a little bit, Mr. Bob. We were looking at some of the benefits of having this anti-gang legislation. Good evening to you, sir. Any thoughts on that, man? You're gonna have to jump right in this.
Good evening to the lawyer opposition. Let me just say that I was very impressed and pleased with the quality of the press conference today and how it addressed a lot of the issues that we're facing, and how the leader of the opposition, Mr. Thorne, and the Democratic Labour Party went about bringing the issues to us in the press conference today. And the anti-gang legislation, as I see it, will bring some level of control and deterrent to and an understanding that we are not accepting the formation of gangs, which seems to be reaching into our youth in the schools and building their own gang culture. And we have to have legislation that prevents that from happening. It is long overdue. And I am saying that it is high time that once we have recognized for the last few years that this is the crux of the matter when it comes to the violence that we are seeing on the streets, that it should not have taken this government that long to decide that this is what we want for Barbados. We are seeing too many of our young men, and as a teacher, it is heartbreaking to see some of the students that came through the school And unfortunately, some of them starts. You see the trend from early, and it may not. It is not surprising that they end up where they are. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these, based on their family background, where they come from, cannot afford to buy a toy gun for the one that is real. So there's a source that needs to be to be checked, checks and balances of what is coming through the ports and supplying these gangs with the type of ammunition to continue the infighting that we are seeing. So anti-gang legislation is overdue.
It is. It is. It is. Am I sticking, Mr. Bob?
I believe that it might be me. I am not sure.
Okay. Dave will let me know if yeah, if it is ticking. You know, there's so many things about this that we could talk about, right?
Mhm.
From that press conference. But I just want to spend, thank you for what you shared there, Mr. Bob, but I want to just spend a little more time going through just some of the benefits, and just to reiterate some of what you have just said there. The anti-gang legislation would also protect children from recruitment. We
Yes.
saw. Do you remember, Mr. Bob, when we saw when there was this white, is it Canadian or American guy came here, a YouTuber, and he was showing the little children
Hmm.
with a whole lot of money gambling.
Yeah.
You know, the chances are great that those kids are part of a gang,
Hmm.
right?
Yes. And the signs
So
that they make when they're leaving.
yes. Yes, so it protects the children from recruitment. And then you're right. You know, they are
Mhm.
making signs, etc. I know that there was some discrepancy on this show because it seemed like they were making a sign and somebody else was saying that possibly that the child could be autistic. But you know, people have sent me so many of some other ones. You know, not necessarily
Mhm.
those particular ones, but some other children making signs as they're going into the, um, you know, they're being taken away, and these are kids, right? So the anti-gang legislation will give the government the power to intervene before the gun is actually in the child's hand. So
Sometimes.
it stops, yeah, it stops recruitment. Now, this bit, the anti-crime, anti-gang legislation, Mr. Bob, and I know you'll have something to say about this, is that it exposes financial networks behind crime.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about that?
Yes, because once gangs are formed, they then create they have their turf wars. To
Mm-hmm.
protect your turf, you then use when negotiations between gangs come to a halt, they then use aggressive action and violence to secure what turf they have. Because, like it or not, it comes down to, in a lot of cases, with drugs are involved. So to protect your turf, you have to look for where you can get a supply of your ammunition. So therefore, those persons now recognizing who can import those um those needs of the gangs to protect their turf, they then see it as a business opportunity and make that supply to them, because I don't see these young fellas having the ability to import guns. So somebody is making money higher up because these guys need these type of weapons to ensure that their side of the turf and their own interest is protected.
Yes, correct. Because you see, as you're saying, Mr. Bob, when you follow the gang,
Mhm.
you're not going to find the shooters, you know. You're going to find the protectors.
Yes.
When you follow the gang, this is why, Mr. Thorne, come to the front of the class, Mr. Thorne. When you follow the gang, you don't find shooters, you find protectors.
Yes.
You see? And that is what a lot of people are they're uncomfortable with. Is who we are going to find when we follow the gang. Who are we going to find? Who are we going to find? Who are we going to find when we follow the gangs? That's what they don't want. Are we going to find political facilitators? Are we going to find business corporate facilitators? Who will we find? You know, Mr. Bob, and that is the if we're not serious, we're not serious about this thing.
No.
That is why some people fear it. And I believe Mr. Thorne, today he asked the question, why is it appears as though the government is afraid to pass this legislation? And I'm wondering, is it because of who it's protecting? The gangs? Who are we're going to see who the protectors are? Will it expose political or corporate facilitators? Who are these people? Are we going to see the linkages between criminal earnings to businesses? Are we going to find those linkages? Is that what the issue is, Mr. Ba? What are your thoughts?
It is. I believe so. So I believe that that what we are seeing now and the proliferation of and the amount of guns that we're seeing on the street, and from that last incident where there were reports or voice notes that would give the impression that every person involved in a shootout had a gun. They were even on the cruise with the guns. So there is a lot. There are a lot of guns on the street, and that has to be big business. Has to be a big business, big import business as well. And I get the impression that sometimes when we hear the any press conferences, you get the impression they know who the guns are, who the gangs are, and I'm sure that on the back of it, they probably will have an idea where the suppliers are as well. And we get the government keeps saying that they are giving the impression by introducing a tint law that they are supporting law enforcement. But the anti-gang legislation is there that they are refusing to enforce actually supports law enforcement. It gives the law provides law these anti-gang legislation provide law enforcement with tools to investigate and prosecute gang-related crimes effectively. Not tint law, the anti-gang legislation.
Correct. That is what is needed. And there's somebody who said something here, and I think that I will let Tony J. Tonji Oyo. Though I can't pronounce it. Good night. It's the first time seeing that name. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. Well, you probably were not on last night. And if you were, you probably would remember that we said that since 2002, there's an anti-terrorist act that was passed in Barbados right after the 9/11. Yes, thank you, Mr. Bab. After 9/11, okay, in 2002. So Tonji Oyo, that is what happened. And in this administration, in 2019, right? 2019, they went and they amended it. Listen to what I'm saying to you. However, the Prime Minister is not advocating for an anti-terrorist act. She is asking for
anti-gang legislation.
Right. The government, the Prime Minister is asking the Prime Minister for. She's talking about domestic terrorism.
Yes.
right? Anti-domestic terrorism, she says. Do you know what that means? And I will repeat that because some of you were not on last night. And one of the things I said to Dave, we have got to arm ourselves with information. See, we have to have knowledge, and that's one of the things we do on the show. We literally break things down. Domestic terrorism involves, and it's okay because I didn't know until I researched it, violent criminal acts by individuals or groups within their own country, but driven by domestic ideological goals, political, religious, social, racial, environmental, to intimidate civilians, influence government policy through coercion, or affect government conduct via mass destruction, right? Operating without foreign direction, etc., etc. Now, anybody who's heard that definition, including the Commission of Police, would know that that is not the source. That's not why we're seeing all of this criminal activity. The Commission of Police, right, Mr. Bob? Mr. Bob, help me here. What the Commission of Police said was a reason for this, the criminal activity.
He said that it is gang related and we more or less have nothing to fear. And it's not terrorism. They're warring factions. Paraphrasing what he said, they're more or less gangs warring against each other. So that tells us that the terrorism that was so denounced even by a minister in the same government the week before or the days before has now been seen or mentioned as something that we should consider looking at. I'm not sure what confusion is being, how confused they are with each other's thinking. But the Commissioner of Police, who was in charge of policing, has said that there are gang-related activities, and these persons are warned against each other. So it leads us to believe that they know who they are.
Yeah.
They
know who they are. So I hope that we're going to finish up this segment now. But Pedro there, you see, for example, Pedro has something there. Where's Pedro? Pedro said something here, and this is where I'm saying we're not serious about what this whole crime issue. We're not serious about it. Pedro, you had a comment there. Look at Pedro's comment. This is not an anti-gang. This is not directly, gang related, although it could be, depending on who is putting on these cruises. But look at what he says. He says, why someone don't charge for holding cruises and patrons not wearing life jackets? Right? Now, I don't know if there's a law. Is there a law concerning that, Mr. Bob?
I am not sure that there is as it relates to cruises. I know that once we have cruises, everybody just get onto the boat and have a good time. But until something untoward happen, then we will start to discuss safety measures, and sometimes we will wait until the worst scenario to look and see what was there on the books that will prevent that will save lives in terms of law enforcement. But the cruises generally, nobody has on life jackets, and if there is a law that says that everybody must have, or life jacket must be provided in those cases, then, because we see people go on cruises, luxury cruises, and they don't walk around in life jackets. They know where to get them. You fly on a plane and there are life jackets available. You know where to get them. So at least I believe that they should be available on the boat, obviously in large numbers, so that if anything happens, that they are available, that lives can be saved.
Yes, I'm going to check into that, because I think what Pedro is getting at is that there are some simple laws that are there that, you know what, we just need to start to follow the laws and enforce the laws, and not just for one set of people, but for everybody. And everybody, whatever walks of life, whatever religion, wherever you're from, whether you're black, you're white, you're Indian, you're Christian, you're Muslim, whoever you are, just right across the board. Can we just have that? Can we just have that where we follow the laws that are already there? The other thing I want to say, Mr. Bob, I want to just spend a couple more minutes on this is how many pieces of legislation that we have seen passed or brought to Parliament last year, and not one of them is an anti-gang legislation. You thought about that, Mr. Bob?
Not one. And it's puzzling, even in a situation where lives of our productive youth and the youth of our countries are lost. I am puzzled why there's no urgency at saving more lives or preventive measures being put in place so that our children don't gravitate towards gangs. I think, but you get the tint law, you get the cybercrime bill, you get another legislation that really attacks a group of business persons involved in
Hotel and
Airbnb.
Yeah, short-term rentals. Yeah,
but yes, Airbnb. But the actual law that needs to be there on the books and be reinforced or enforced, let me say, we're not seeing it. This will stop that will help put an end or put some control measures in place. The fighting will not stop, but at least we can start putting measures in place that can stop this thing from escalating or getting much worse. And I am puzzled that they have not done it. What are they not concerned about the lives of our people? And look at who they are. They're from the masses, from among the persons in the villages. They're not coming from the heights. They're not coming from certain ethnic groups. And there are young persons who should be looking to make a contribution and working towards making a contribution to Barbados and by extension their family. Are we not interested in the lives of our young people?
A very, very sobering thought there, Mr. Bob. And when you think about, as I just read to you, everybody, about the domestic terrorism, what that is, do you realize that if this government goes ahead and this is the law that they focus on, it's not going to deal with the issues that we have in Barbados right now because it's not related to it. Yes. And what that is telling me is that this government is playing games with us. Can I just repeat that, Mr. Bob? If they come up with a domestic terrorism piece of legislation to deal with domestic terrorism, as the government is proposing, my fellow Barbadians, don't you realize that that is not going to solve the problem that we're having with the increased gun activity, criminal activities in Barbados? It is not going to happen because it would not have the teeth. It would not have it wouldn't have the, what am I looking for, the word? It doesn't have the strength, the content. It would never be able to deal with our issue. So once again, it is like the tint. Mm-hmm. Do you see?
Yes,
you see what I'm saying, Mr. Bob?
Yes.
Go ahead. But you see what I'm saying?
Yes, that is not that what they're proposing is not really dealing with the issue, because what you want to do in an anti-gang legislation is to protect communities, reduce gang violence, restore order in the affected areas. That is what the aim is, to deter gang activity, to discourage individuals from joining or participating in gangs. That is what you want.
So once again, we are being played, and you, Barbadians, you need to ask your government why. This is a very serious thing, You and I knew off the bat that tint was not going to solve the problem. The Prime Minister knew. She said she just wanted money, remember?
Yes.
And here it is. We had 10 persons shot, 9 in the hospital, and they come with a bill that sounds great. sounds strong, sounds powerful. But when you look at it, and if it were, they take it the time for court and cases, it would not solve the problem. That is some serious things. And it leads me, Mr. Bob, and Daniel, you're right, they're playing mind games. And what we're doing on the show is to educate. We are being educated, all of us here. We're educating ourselves, Mr. Bob.
Yes.
About what is going on. Now, when you think about elections around the corner, right? Crime, elections, and money. Who benefits? The stories are told, Mr. Bob, before we move on. And I'm going to harp on this almost every night I come on here, because elections are around the corner. Right? And the stories are being told when there's a certain ethnic group in Barbados that they bring bag it's bags of cash to political persons in this country, politicians, to help them to secure their win. Some of that money that you see sharing out in communities, where do you think it come from? They're able to outspend everybody else. So you think there are some politicians in this country, you think they're going to want to see any change in what is happening in Barbados, this criminal activity?
Not to cut their budget.
Go ahead.
Not to cut their political budget. No way.
Think about it, guys. Think about it. This is very serious, This is very, 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 very serious. And Shirley, you're asking how they come in possession. We just outlined to you, there is the issue, and they have said it. The commissioner of police, we have a gang issue in Barbados. I saw. Yeah, Terry, our youngest panelist, he's not been on because of school. He told us that. And he was giving us the names of the gangs and everything. He's our youngest panelist. You've got to listen to them, We have a gang issue. That's why you have 15 and 16-year-olds who are in possession of guns. So the strategy is to distract us from the truth. Election is coming up. Election is coming up. And by the blood of our children, there are some politicians in here that they are determined to win their seat by the blood of our children.
It's true.
The blood of our children flowing in the streets of Barbados. That's how some of these politicians plan to win their seats. And that I want us to stop, and we need to think about this. And I think, Mr. Bob, I personally believe, I'll throw it out because I always go by what you guys suggest. But I think the next march need to be about this legislation. We need to get to the source. We need them to give up the protectors. Who are the protectors? We need this piece of legislation.
Yeah.
Daniel says, how did we get to this destination? Yeah, they don't care. I heard that there was a shootout today. Was there a shootout today in Cave Hill? Anybody knows?
I think I saw that on social media posting. So I'm not seeing any news items. I have not checked actually. I will check.
News items, yeah. But listen, Judy, the women in this country, you need to hold your belly and bawl for your children. You need to take this up in your hand, because there's some people in here, all they're interested in is power. And however they retain power, they will do anything to hold on to power. Anything. I have spoken to politicians. That's how I say it. I know the names of these people. But I say it like this. I've spoken to politicians who said that they're being coerced, Mr. Bob, by other politicians to go and meet with gang leaders. I could call the names right now. They are telling them that, listen, you have to go and meet. And when they refused, one of them right now, the one that was locked up in April, is April he was locked up just the other day, whenever he was locked up, the last one. Listen, politicians at higher levels went to that person and said, oh, you don't want to go, let me go. Let me go and secure the money. So you have politicians being bullied by other politicians who tell them this isn't where you're going to win. You need this man to be sharing out money in the community. Right here in St. Philip. Let's bring it home so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Right here in St. Philip. They tell them, listen, that's not how you win election. You can't win election so clean. And they force the person to go to the gang leader's house or in the drug den, wherever they are, their establishment, to meet them. And they told that particular person, you can't win election like that. That is what is going on. The crime, elections, and money. Crime, elections, and money. They are planning. There are some politicians in here planning to win elections with blood money. The blood of your children. That's why prayer is needed, folks. Prayer is needed. They are planning to use blood money to win this election. That's why all of these games. Some of these politicians playing games with us. When I sit here, I'm not making up anything. Do you understand? I don't need to make up anything, Mr. Bob.
No, you don't. It is about education and allowing the viewers to understand and be aware of what is happening around them. And they have children. And if you have children going to school, you have to be aware of what is happening. I just came off the field with a number of children with track and field. Their parents knew where they were this evening, and that's the aim, to get them involved in wholesome activity. But there are too many who are not involved in that type of activity, and they become easy pawns for recruitment. So once you have children, this is the type of information that you must be you must listen to and be aware, and you need to question your children. You need to be able to spot certain behaviors and be able
You
to nip
know,
this in the bud, because you must be able to see when your child, the young man in your house is get into some shady behaviors.
I tell you something, people. We have to get serious about this thing. These people love power. They're only pretending. They're only pretending. And I lived through it, Mr. Bob,
Hmm.
in Jamaica. I lived through that kind of politics.
Hmm.
I lived through seeing politicians giving guns, ammunition to voters. Mr. Bob, do you know that in this country there are politicians that are giving drugs to young people for them to go and vote?
I heard about it. I've not witnessed it myself, but I've heard about it. I've heard about it because during the election time, especially, and I know I've been a former candidate, in that last 2 hours, money and anything that they can get to coerce that last rush to the poll, they will use. And so I'm not surprised that that is happening, because whatever they believe will is in need at that point in time, they will have access to it, and they know the communities that they can get away with it. There's certain places that they won't go with money or anything else to coerce persons to vote. They come right into the communities where they know that there's a particular demand, and they are able to source it very easily. So I'm not surprised that has been happening.
Yeah, they are. This is what, because the young people, they talk. They talk.
Yes, they do.
They give them drugs. When you see that last day, the election day, they give money and they give drugs. Once upon a time, people give you corn, beef, and biscuit and so on. They give away. There are politicians in this country that give that blood money, this same money that runs through the gangs. There is so, Mr. Bob, this thing is so massive, right? People don't even realize some of these promoters, you see. There is so much, right? This blood money goes so far. Look and see the politicians. Look and see who is connected up with promoters. Look and see. Do you understand what I mean by promoters? Show promoters.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. Do you remember something, Mr. Babu, that happened when Cartel was coming here? Trinidad was not able to find, they said they didn't have enough foreign exchange to pay Cartel in a lump sum. I don't know if you follow these things, right?
Hmm.
And viewers. However, Barbados, he said, was able to find the foreign exchange to pay him. You're talking about over $1 million. Trinidad said they had to wait a couple of days, and so Cartel got with his greedy self, and he didn't want to perform in Trinidad anymore because they said, we're going to give you half, and when you get to Trinidad, we give you. No, he wanted all of his upfront. But he says Barbados didn't have to do it. And somebody called me and said, Marcia, he wasn't able to do that. Barbados wasn't able to do that, and you need to check out and find out why. And I did. I did. This thing is so connected up, guys. There's so much I wish I could say, but I can't say. I wish I could say, Mr. Bob, but I can't say. You would shake your head, Barbados. Some of you would say, I already know. But all you have to do is to go back and you check, go and look at who comes out on stages with promoters. Just go back and look at some of these events. That's all I'm saying. Go and look at who are the people, whatever category. Go and look who comes out on stages with promoters in this country. You would get a clue. And this election, they're using blood money. Blood money. The blood of your children is what is going to be used. They're planning to use that. But we can cut this off through prayers. You know that.
Yes.
Any other thought, Mr. Bob, just for tonight, because we have to go, we have to deal with the whole human trafficking part of this thing and the trafficking of guns, the trafficking of the ammunition. So that's a whole nother part of it. But any thoughts there, Mr. Bob, before we move on?
I just want the government and those persons to become serious about what is happening and the lives of innocent young people who once they leave school, we are as parents are determined that they are supposed to lead productive lives. But over the last few years, a lot of them have been cut down. We started with some in the 20s and 30s. We have now reached a stage where we're seeing teenagers being charged with murder and gun-related crimes. And if the people of Barbados are not concerned about this, then we are lost. We have to demand of our government to put those legislations in place that limits, hinder, control what is happening at this present point in time. If nothing else, we have concerns about the cost of living, taxes, but I believe the most important part of this election is securing the lives of our young people. That is what has to happen this election. So I am asking all viewers and those persons listening to take this election seriously. The other issues are important, but most importantly are those lives that are lost. And any government that has the concern of our youth, that are really interested in family, because when a life is lost, it hurts not only the mother or the father, but the immediate family. I don't know if persons understand the type of counseling that has to go into in a school setting when there is a death among school children. I don't know if they understand the type of mental stress and trauma that young people experience when they lose some person who is close and in a violent way at that. So I'm saying to our leaders at this point in time, take the lives of our productive young men seriously. Too many have been gunned down. Too many are involved in this, are being recruited. And we need to stop, we need to put a stop to it. And if it means that we have to change a government to change the mindset, then we have to do it this elections.
Yeah, and that's why I say, when I see all of these games that they're playing, and I know Mr. Glenn Murray is getting ready to come on, and he's a man. Glenn Murray is in his 80s, and he has seen it all, and he's coming on to talk about the election campaign underway. Question everything more, and that's what we're doing. We're saying, it's strange that you're going to come up with a piece of legislation. Know that we are in fear. The countries, there's a lot of fear. The fear becomes, it's like currency, when in election time. Fear is like currency for that leader. And they're going to come up with a piece of legislation that has nothing. It doesn't even define what is happening here. As we said today, I asked the Mr. Thorne today about the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who said there's no terrorism here. That's what the Minister of Foreign Affairs, her minister, said that.
Yes,
but she is doing something that has nothing to do with the increase of crime in Barbados. That's why Mr. Murray is going to come to us and tell us, with this election campaign underway, we need to question everything
Everything
more.
and more. Yes.
But we have 2 minutes before he comes, Mr. Bob. I know after he's finished, we want to go back to Mr. Thorne's to the press conference today
Mhm.
and to look at some. He talked about the stealing of the elections, et cetera, et cetera, and some of the transport board.
Mhm.
And I know Dave has some of those clips lined up, and we will go back to some of that. And I know there's somebody who's going to call in, Mr. Bob, to tell us about what their encounter was with the Electoral and Boundaries Commission when they
Mhm.
called because their name was off of the
The
list
list. Right.
when they called and what they were told. So we're going to do that as well. But let me welcome Mr. Glenn Murray to the Marcia Weekes Show tonight.
Good
Welcome,
night.
Mr. Murray.
Good night, Marcia. And
Uh,
good night, Aldwin.
Good night. Good night. Good to see you. Happy New
Good to
Year.
same to you. Happy New Year to each and every one too. Good to
Yes,
be
yes.
with you again.
I'm going to retreat and listen to this
Uh,
encyclopedia.
behave yourself, man.
All right, I'll be
Good to
listening.
see you.
I'll be listening.
Respect you. Thank you
Yes.
very much. All right.
Yeah, yes,
Hi,
yes, yes.
Marcia. Right.
Yes, Mr. Murray, it's a pleasure having you tonight, and I'm glad to know you're feeling better. I did tell everybody you weren't well,
Yeah,
and we were
this
for you.
I I'm a victim of what I like to refer as my road regaining my African destiny. All that um dust coming out of the Sahara dust and all those things mess up my sinuses. So that is I see that as my African destiny. All right, that's all we get from them.
Yes,
So that's one of my pet peeves. But let me not digress into that. It's good to be here,
yes,
and a lot is happening. So much is happening. I just want to be able to pick through what's happening and try to point out some things that should not be overlooked. That's why I chose my point, election campaign, and the way question everything more, and over and over and over. And in that vein, I'd like to take a look at the Prime Minister's press conference she had last Saturday, right? Um, it was a waste of time. I think it did her image, the government image, more harm than good. First of all, perception-wise, visually, I'm tired of seeing an array of people around the Prime Minister, and virtually she's the only person speaking. First of all, that reinforces the public perception and accusation that this is a one voice, one person administration. Because when you do that, you have the Minister of Health, you have the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the acting Minister of Tourism, Lisa Cummings, somebody from the Regional Security Commons System, and the Commissioner of Police. Except for the Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Police, nobody else. But what's the point of having these petty people? Is it just to satisfy my perceptions? I always describe her as a type A personality who likes to be dominant, who likes to be in charge, who likes to have people that beck and call, give an instruction, you follow me? I think that to me is it's fine. But while that might satisfy her personal ego, it does to me it demeans and diminishes all these persons are high paid, supposedly important people of prestige and authority and important jobs to do. And they just come there like props, visual props. AI could have we could have had a hologram and beamed them onto the car with their image, and it could have served the same purpose. What was the point? And I think the Prime Minister spoke on every issue that the other ministers involved should have spoken about. And I felt that the greatest injustice to be done, given that the most important thing for Barbadians was not what was happening in Venezuela or what the Americans were doing. The most important was the attempted shooting, the mass shooting the night before that horrified Barbadians. Okay, and to me, the person who should have led on that was the Commissioner of Police. It was an operational matter, but he and the Prime Minister said very little about it. I can understand it was for where he's concerned.
It's an operation matter. He's still gathering evidence. The process is still young and hot. So he can't say much, but he could have used the opportunity to deal with that G word, what the most horrifying G word for this government? Gangs. The Prime Minister talk about a handful of people. I've heard that categorization before. The Commission talk about rival parties or rival groups. Can't say gangs, as though we got this mental block. We're into denial. It reminds me back in the early 1990s when the then Minister of Justice, I think he was our first Minister of Justice, denied that there were gangs in Barbados. And we seem to, right through the years, perpetuate that myth. But what makes it even more ridiculous is that the Prime Minister herself has announced that I've seen government statements saying that there's no a serious crime unit, serious crime and anti-gun unit, serious crime and anti-gang unit, which they had help from the British government in putting into place. So how come you can have the infrastructure, but if there are no gangs, there's no mention of gangs? And what they do is that we refuse to accept that there are gangs. When you talk about gangs, gangs are structured, organized with a hierarchy, with a mission, with their own forms of discipline, with operations. You've heard me say time and time, Marcia, that crime is the best and biggest organized business in the world.
You've always said that.
That is why no country has ever been able to eliminate it. None. Because it's too well organized, it's structured or organized, too disciplined today. But if our approach to policing what's happening, crime in the country, the warfare, the shooting, the robberies, the horrible things that happen, if we see that only as a handful of people, we are naive. Not to worry about a few people and no big thing. If we see them as a gang, like other countries have done in the Caribbean and elsewhere, Jamaica has experienced a tremendous reduction in its crime. And one of the greatest achievement was to dismantle. Dismantle, attack them, root them, make them run for cover, and make them fresh start. We hear about things, but we don't hear about that kind of frontal attack on their business, because it's a business, and if you disrupt their business, they'll move to sell elsewhere. But if you just dismiss their existence, they become more and more entrenched, and it makes the job more and more difficult. And therefore, I'm saying that the government lost a good opportunity. Commissioner of Police should have been there to reassure people why we don't want operational details, but it should have been done more to tell people, gangs. He himself said that these groups, these warring groups, it was vengeance. So you recognize a group structure, a gang structure, what you might call it, but there's a grouping. So how come you can recognize it and then do not give us the public the information? For a while now, we should know how many approximately heavy gangs are in Barbados. We should know their locations. We should know their operations. So when people see, police talk about, if you see something, tell something. If you see things, but you cannot identify them, make them make sense to what you can't tell. So they're shooting themselves in the foot by this refusal to admit that we have gangs and let us deal with them like other countries have successfully done and disrupt and diminish their influence and their power or water. Otherwise, I remember once that there was some years ago, there was one gang was called itself a government, apologized to the Myanmar administration for infringing a Corvus directive. They apologized by name. And that horrified me, because here it means you have a parallel system of a government that people voted for constitutionally within the law. Then there's a parallel institution that is brave enough, is sure of itself enough to be able to issue a statement of apology in its own name to what it sees as its counterpart on the legal side. So until we take those kind of frontal, serious approach, things are only going to get worse. And it bothers me that they're refusing to mention gangs, let people get familiar with the concept of a gang, how they operate, etc. But the Prime Minister is keep beating his horse about terrorists, using anti-terrorism, anti-terrorist legislation. I know that from my knowledge of language, the word terrorist is more frightening and horrifying than a criminal. Terrorism is more frightening than crime. So, as tourist destinations have depended on tourism. If like I said, no country has been able to eliminate crime. So all countries have various forms and extent of criminal activity. So that being the case, we have to make sure that we identify the sources, the activities, so we can help get to the root of them. But this terrorism is more frightening. Crime, people know there's crime. We are not familiar with terrorist activities in Barbados. So when terrorism does not, you can't adjust to terrorism. Crime, you have an idea what might happen to you if you go to a place, your bag snatched, may get robbed. But terrorism can happen anywhere, anytime, in any form. So that's much more traumatic and disturbing about the possibilities than if we dealt with crime out of which these other things spring. So therefore, I don't understand why the Prime Minister is obsessed, is determined to go through with anti-terrorism legislation. But at the same time, as Lady Opposition reminded us today, has refused to implement anti-crime legislation, anti-gang legislation.
Anti-gang, yeah.
Anti-gang, it streamlines the whole operation, gives an identity, and makes it much more definable and structured to deal with. And I'm yet to be convinced that it makes sense. And then nobody has ever told me yet what is the advantage of saying you're going for anti-terrorism, anti-terrorist, rather than anti-gang, which is part of an everyday feature in Barbados. We've long had gangs in Barbados. Not of as the world changes, as cultures change, even negative cultures, they too change their ways of operation. So now gangs do different things now because the world has changed. It's an international operation, and they keep up. They get their technical advice. They observe. They get training. So it communicates like how other business persons communicate. You've probably heard me say how I spent a lot of time observing the mafia families and mafia gangs and the whole culture and operation. And it's virtually the same thing everywhere in the world. And we have to make sense like that. Until we do that, we are already fooling ourselves and shooting ourselves in the foot. I think the public has to speak out and determine that they determine that we must have anti-gang legislation to deal with the gangs in Barbados. We cannot let them treat it the same way they've done with the anti-corruption legislation, how they've done with the Freedom of Information Act, how they've done with the referendum and the Constitution for a Republic of Barbados. They have to be held to account and do not allow ourselves to be passed off and brushed aside by either activities or language which does not add up. And I'm saying that press conference, they said, did not make sense. We did not get any real information out of the press conference or the Prime Minister or whatever. The Commissioner of Police should have, and these operational managers, he's the one we trust operationally, professionally to head his department, and he should get that exposure, and not people speaking for him. Because when the Prime Minister speaks ahead of him, he's Prime Minister, he's Commissioner of Police. It's psychologically circumscribes and put limits, and he basically has to follow her lead. If he comes to speak as his own right as Commissioner of Police, which he has, the only person he's really accountable to is the President. So he doesn't have to pay what she says, and he come and speak professionally from his experience and training on all the activities that are going on in the force and let us know. I think we need to get that going. But while I think he needs to, I see he's now he's performing better now than before, but he has to up his game given the demand. Because when we watch international television, we see how the commissioner of police operate. They stand up, podium. I mean, the image you see a person speaking from a position of authority. I've studied human behavior. I've studied leadership. A leader speaking at a podium commands attention. That is why the priest in the church goes up in their pulpit to preach. So you look up to him because psychologically, you pay more attention. It's a different reaction than just looking across the room and seeing eye to eye. So that is why these things are done deliberately and not by accident. So the commissioner of police should have his podium, his messaging all around, and he commands the attention of the room. He speaks with more authority. I don't like him sitting there. They should get up and go and speak. The other thing is that missing was the last person named as minister responsible for crime prevention, and that was no other than the Honorable, unless it has changed, and I have not seen any or heard the announcement that it has changed. The Honorable Kurt Humphrey. Remember, he was supposed to replace Minister Corey Lane. Right. But I think I can only recall two mentions I've heard of, two slight statements from Minister Humphrey associating himself. Now here we're having a crime situation, a crucial situation, a critical situation the night before. You call the Commissioner of Police, summon. The Prime Minister summons the Minister of Health. The Prime Minister summons the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Acting Minister of Tourism, Mr. Major Sherlin from the Regional Security Services there, people from the airport, other agencies, the port are there. But there's no minister responsible for crime prevention. Why? Unless he's been reshuffled out and nobody knows. But he is not, I mean, every 2 or 3 days, he's on TV, on the radio, and you start talking about this new combined set of services with his elderly and people empowerment. The new combination system that was going to come in the child care board and all that is under one. He talks about, I think he just said, I think he saw him on TV last night. He said the legislation has been proclaimed. I know they're right to roast it. They now exist, not only on paper, but in actuality by law. But you do not hear him make any other fulsome statement about crime prevention. He has not given us yet an assessment of the success of the agencies, the police force, etc., combined with defense force, and their activities. Is he happy with the performance? Is he happy with the results? We get no. And it seems to me that he's very comfortable in the social services sector where he's been trained and qualified or what. He's very good at that. He knows his stuff well. I think he has 2 master's degrees in that field, etc. Yes. He's worked on it. Very good for him. But no, there must have been very good reason why the Prime Minister gave him that assignment, because obviously some of the things he does feeds into and associated with criminal activity or trying to fight crime. So, but why he's not identified with it? There's a term called a person being given a poison chalice. CHLIC, which is a goblet, like, right?
Yeah.
And what it means, from which you drink wine or other. So if you're given, and I think this refers, one of the most famous quotations regarding this is in Hamlet. Is it Hamlet or Macbeth? Yeah. No, I'm not sure, but one of Shakespeare's plays in which this person is accused of being given a poison chalice, which means that while it ostensibly and on the face it looks good, advantageous, uplifting, etc., it has its side effect that can in the end come to haunt the person and diminish their standing. I suspect, I can only conclude as an observer that maybe Minister who, like I said, has studied human behavior, he would know of this concept too. That should not be a surprise to him in human behavior terms. So maybe he does not want to become identified in the public with crime prevention when these things happen, because it helps to diminish his standing, his success in the other spheres of his activities in the social services. And that's that's the only, but the Prime Minister is his boss.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prime Minister should make him come and account to the public along with the Commissioner of Police and give the Commissioner of Police support. I remember in the past, Minister Lane used to be present at these briefings, at this press conference, doing his work. What is so different or so special about Minister Humphrey that for an issue, an area that is so important and so crucial that that he himself is not being held accountable for, is not identified with? How many more minutes do we have, Marcia? There's another. I would like to change gears somewhat and do speak on a related topic, which also deserves persons free examination.
You have 12 minutes, Mr. Murray.
Okay, all right. Let me change gears shortly. I'm going to go and talk about another issue that is pending. Has to do with the pending nomination in St. Michael's Central to replace the confirmed retiring Speaker, Mr. Arthur Holder. Now, that was in the press fully this weekend, and out of came an announcement that what had given itself as a straightforward routine endorsement as coronation for Miss Tyra Trotman, who had defected from the DLP and was embraced and heralded and celebrated and welcomed with open arms to an extent not seen other persons. Now, while at first she was the only candidate for the nomination, supported by both Mr. Holder and the Prime Minister and the BLP. Now, another BLP, persons who might not have known her to be as deep as uncommitted BLP as she said she had made out to be, Dr. Lynette Holder, who's of CEO of the Small Business Association. Also, I think she's also strong in the church. One of the leader figures in probably the evangelical movement of what you're going. She has now inserted herself into the contest, and so there we're going to have a contest of whatnot. And she said that she's not just been walked; that she's been identified. She's chaired the Prime Minister's branch office and from the constituency branch office and executive, and she's worked in the constituency. But while what I find fascinating is that candidates must know there's a difference to being known of. She might be known of in St. Michael Central and elsewhere, but she now has to use what 10, 12 days left to let the constituents in St. Michael Central not only know of, but get to know her, because it said one of the basic objectives, the first objective in politics, is to get people to know you and to hopefully like you and to trust you and to support you. So while they might know of her, she has a short time in which to get to know her. But I hope that as I saw what seemed to have happened in St. Thomas nomination, like Gregory Nichols won, his opponents seem to have spent time courting the whole constituency. But in truth, in fact, this is not a by-election. The whole constituency cannot vote for it. It can only be the members. And therefore, I'm not sure how much time she has to seek to get the members on her side to put up the contest against Tyra Trotman, Ms. Trotman. But on the other hand, there's more the mortar than the pestle. There's more the mortar than the pestle. I am intrigued that in his speech, in his comments to the press, Mr. Holder never said that he was retiring from politics. He never said he was done with politics. He make a clean back from politics. He never said he's going to spend more time with his family, with another professional, with his law practice, which is a well-established one, well-known one. He said he played his part, and he has pass it on to a younger generation that is speaking about the constituency represented. But, no, there are no coincidences in life. Because this government is a highly transactional government. Transactional in the sense that, as Larry said, do for do. You do something for me, do about something. Give and take, that's transaction. And I find it interesting that while Ms. Trotman has been canvassing, as she reportedly said, that constituency for the past 2 years, I've had long-standing reports that her initial entry into the contest, into the constituency, did not meet with the support of the leadership of that constituency, and there were some and friction and objection, and then that seemed to have been handled. And I recall that when the legislation changing the rules and the law to create a now elected speaker who is supposed to be independent, not having been shortened from direct from one of the party rank who win the majority for government, but shortened by the members of parliament itself. There's a new takeaway, and the thinking behind that is that a speaker in our system has not have as much time does not have opportunity to speak for his constituents on the floor of the House. I am not really convinced by that argument because I've seen it happen. That has been the system for hundreds of years. But I've seen it happen because I've seen in that very same system, speakers would have other MPs speak on his behalf, raise something about a road, a school, some activity, so they still get articulation, even though it is not by the speaker, the voice is still made, it still goes into the parliamentary record, and the public is known as being represented. So I'm not really buying that, particularly when other speakers in Barbados, Mr. Holder would have replaced Steve Blackett of the DLP, who was there for 10 years and survived being speaker and represent his constituency. Mr. Blackett's predecessor would have been Ishmael Roy from the BLP, who was there for 14 years and represented. So I'm saying that I don't buy this argument that I will have more to speak about some of these proposals for the so-called parliamentary reform. But I'm saying that I'm asking questions because, like I said, when this bill went in the Senate, it was said that from the government side that the person who would become the new speaker, the independent speaker, would be or should be or must be or likely to be someone with parliamentary experience. As far as I know, the speaker role does not really revolve around parliamentary experience. It revolves about the standing orders, which are all written down, which you have to get familiarity with. You get familiar with, which you know, which you implement, which you can challenge. And the speaker does not do it himself because in Barbados, he has one clerk of parliament and 2 assistant clerks to help guide. So it's not that anybody has to know the standard orders like the Bible. You can quote chapter, verse, etc. There's a structure in place. There are records of precedent that people to guide persons. So I'm very curious about this parliamentary experience. How do you define parliamentary experience? And that has not been spelled out yet. Probably George job haven't reached that stage. But as I said, I'm raising these questions early, and people should ask because there's a school of thought that this could be a direction of which a well-known person for that might be going in future. And to me, that is something that we have to keep on. Where this elitism, because our MPs are the most heavily supported. They get paid the most ever, get allowances, they get a paid rent, staff, a constituency assistant, there's a personal assistant, there's a constituency liaison officer. All this from the taxpayers, they already have a multiplicity of sources of support, which to me severely minimizes the validity of the claim that they can't do things themselves because they're so bogged down. But the person will tell that it's hard to get any attention at some constituency office. Some are never open, some are seldom open. They're hard to get messages or things done. So there's a structure in place again for MPs to take care of their constituents. I am very therefore of rewarding some person who seems to be part of what has been created in the last 2 years, an elitist. There's an elitism, there's an elitist structure that has been entrenched in Barbados over and over again. Elitists are a narrow group of people who are basically feathering their own nest, their jobs, their appointments, business activities, etc. And that is the. I've never seen it happen like this before. We had politicians, House of Assembly, Senate, etc. We had private sector, and there was a division. There were divisions between them, where roles were different and compartmentalized. Now it seems as though this elitism, this political elite, which is the exact opposite of what should happen in a republic. In a republic, you're supposed to have equality. What was the French term? Egalite, fraternity, the third one. And so you're talking about food, fraternity, liberty, right? So a republic is not supposed to cater to elitism. And we are seeing elitism becoming entrenched to an extent in Barbados that is changing Barbados for the worse. It's happened all over Barbados, but it happened particularly in the public sector, where people who have access to cronyism and political patronage, etc., are placing their friends, their family, their fornicators, etc., their cliques, and there's a clique building up which will come to the fore sooner or later and will do detriment to Barbados. So I'm asking Barbados to keep their eyes on that whole situation too. Like I said, ask questions, take nothing for granted, query, challenge, as fast as you can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And lots of food for thought there. Mr. Murray, lots to think about. Election campaign underway, question everything more. And, I have Mr. Bob in the studio. I don't know if he's able to open up his mic and camera, but there's something we were discussing off air. And before we move to the call-in section, we could just take about 3 minutes. I want to ask you something, Mr. Murray. I'm going to turn off your mic because it's echoing back at me. Do you think the effort that went into, or the initiative to change the Constitution as it relates to the Speaker of the House? Remember, there was this thing that happened, I think was it near Christmas time? It's so many things, I can't remember, but I know that they wanted to have the Speaker of the House, a deputy, and they wanted to add, it's like an additional person in the lower house, okay? And so they went ahead, and the whole thrust of it was that they were going to change the Constitution of Barbados so that this can happen. Do you think that has anything to do with giving a gift to Arthur Holder, and allowing, saying to him, well, because remember he said he was going to run. Then he said, then all of a sudden he changed his mind. Is it the amending of the Constitution that do you think, which may give him some kind of a special, what word I'm looking for there? Do something favorable for him as it relates to the House, why he would be willing to give up his constituency, because he said he was going to run again. It's just a thought there. Mr. Bad, you can also jump in. Mr. Murray, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me say, first of all, from what I recall, the reports I had been getting over time was that Mr. Holder was not Mr. Holder and the constituency or constituency did not have the happiest of fates at one time. There was dissension about how it was being serviced, etc. And it was not a very calm situation where representation and the relationship between the MP and the constituents were concerned. And so that's all. But then it seems a rapport, an agreement was works. This work, but it seems to come understand the way things got even better. But you have to understand that Mr. Holder, who to me when you see him, I saw a picture of him, he looks youthful and fresh, etc. He looks as though he still has work to do or can do work. But one has to be frank. Mr. Holder was elected in 2018. And what that would be May, June 2018. Re-elected in 2022, January 2022. So my memory tells me that to qualify for a pension, you have an ordinary member has to put in 3 terms, or 12 years or 3 terms or something like that. A minister has to put in 2 terms or 8 years. There might have been one, but those are the basic. I'm not sure, therefore, that Mr. Holder would not on the record have been first elected in May, June 2018. You don't have put in 7 years short of from what we would call was the qualifying time for pension. So I am sure that if the government is prepared to go to the extent to amend the constitution to entrench this position of an independent speaker, that independent speaker would have to be pensionable at some time. So if Mr. Holder were fortunate enough to be elected to fill that role, that would therefore add to his tenure and qualify him for a pension, a parliamentary pension. And therefore, I think all the ducks are being put in row in order to make all that and other things possible based on the political moves being made and the objectives and how some people are be treated and rewarded and whatnot. And you're going to see it in other places too.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Mr. Bob, I know you have a thought to share about that as well. Go right ahead.
Yes. Again. They say that I'm looking at the word independent speaker, and I am trying to understand how independent it is if you have just the government making a decision. If the Speaker of the House then selected is supposed to be independent, should that be some kind of collaboration between the opposition and the government to come up with a final decision? We just had the president then replaced at this point. Wasn't there a collaboration between opposition and the government to come up with the final selection? So how are you giving me the impression, a layman out there, that Mr. Alpha becomes the automatic choice? I'm trying to understand it, Mr. Murray.
I think the arrangements will be different for the independence. This person is supposed to be voted on, like how you have a proposal, like any other measure in the House of Assembly, where the actual members approve the appointment of this independent person who would not have been selected as an MP. It would be a non-MP then. This person is going to be recruited outside the ranks of the MP as a traditional way. I'm not sure. I imagine the job would have to be advertised, and people have to be applied and have to be vetted. I would probably have to go through the Management Commission of Parliament that deals with staff and matters, right? So there'll be a process, but it will not come from the ranks directly from persons who have been elected in the House at that time, from whom one has been customarily chosen as in the past.
Understand?
So that is the difference. It's a very interesting circumvention, but because they want to reward somebody with it.
Yeah,
That's
really,
true.
that's what it's all about.
Mike
Mr. Bob, go ahead,
Mike
please
also
comment. Mr. Bob, then we will move on.
my concern is that I see a pattern of behavior in terms of interfering or making changes to the constitution to satisfy what I call party desires, or the political rewards. We had with the two senators early in 2018, 2019. Then we had another attempt with a young man who was under the age. And I'm seeing this one as it relates to the speaker as well. I don't feel very comfortable that any government can just take up your constitution of a country and try to manipulate to satisfy certain desires of that part government.
I understand your concern, but the Constitution is an essentially a legal document birthed out of politics and philosophy and values, etc. And the system is managed by politicians, so one would expect that it's possible for politicians themselves to want to. The amendments have always come through the political directed, whatever amendments there have been in the past to the Constitution. So that in and of itself, to me, is not wrong, because a political document is supposed to be living, responsive to needs and demands of society, but it has to be coached in certain standards and values that would it is not trivialized and debased for the most narrow political ends. And that's only the public, an alert public, can keep whatever government exists on its toes to make sure that those values are respected and maintained. In other words, the popular term on there is the guard, that would be a guardrail, right? We have to have our checks and balances and demand that they're inserted whenever the time comes.
Yeah. Well, you know what, because of time, I'm gonna move on, but just to say that, I think I hear this from a lot of people, that it's amazing that the Constitution can be amended, the peace. I think that's one of the issues that the Senator Monique Tate had with this whole process, and she was very upset the last time that this came up, and so there still has to be it is a document that you can't just, in my opinion, you shouldn't be able to just change it at will. It's just my opinion on that, but we're going to move on from there.
One last thing on that. That what you're saying today is a natural outgrowth of the outstandingly embarrassing failure of us to have made ourselves into a republic without first having set the framework in a Republican devised constitution to tell how to do these things. So you've had this hodgepodge thing, and you're seeing the result of that ad hoc thinking, where things are not being thought step right from the beginning to the end, where you do things as you go, you make them up as you go along.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Viewers, this is your time, and we want you to call in. I know that someone called me today after the press conference and wanted to share tonight an experience that you've had. This is a good time to call. And just as you are thinking about what you're going to call about, anything you might have heard tonight, or anything in the press conference today, we're going to ask you to just call the number. It's on the it's on the screen. Where is it? 236-7000 should be on this, coming up on the screen soon. Be ready to call us and to share what is it that is on your mind regarding anything we've said tonight. Okay, well, here we have a call coming through. Yes, good night. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. I'm going to ask you to take me off of speaker. Off speaker, please, because we're going to get that feedback. And we want to hear.
Sound more better?
Yes. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Great to hear you tonight.
Yes, Happy New Year to you, Marcia Weekes, Mr. Bob, and Mr. Murray.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
they're hearing you. They're hearing you. Yes, go right ahead.
Yes.
What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is a big problem that happened today. My mother, she called the electoral office
Mm-hmm.
to find out if she's on the voters list.
Yes.
Right? They confirmed yes, she's on the voters list. That was one of the good news. But when she passed the phone to me and then inquired to find out if I'm on the voters list, I gave my ID registration number. So here, what the gentleman replied to me, oh, you don't have a Trident ID card, so we was told to take you off the electoral voters list.
Okay. Can you say that again? Can you say that you are sure they told you because you did not have a Trident? You call. Where did you call?
I called the electoral. My mother called the electoral office.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Where she got about the gentleman talking to me, and he told me, let me give him my ID card number, right? He said I want my name is not. He was told that my name is for to get taken off to the voters list because don't have any Trident ID card. I don't have a Trident ID card.
Wow, that means
So I had
mine is not on the list because I don't have a Trident ID card. If what you're saying,
it made me laugh, right? But it's serious. But the gospel truth now, I had your bad today. I tell you, I did on it. So yeah, they take my for electoral voters list. Cause I had me hot right there. So basically, now, right? I had to tell you, we have my name is Tony, right? And you talk for, okay, what's what I mean? So when you get about know everything, either take up my phone and tell me, oh, my name is back on the word, electoral voters list. You know, so you try to be a victimize me and you want to sabotage me, no?
but
Yeah.
but I mean, I thought that I didn't know because I mean I guess my name is I didn't do the Trident ID. If what you're saying, it means that what Kimar, which we had proven in any case, that what Kimar was saying is true because the Electoral Boundaries Commission website says that that is a requirement in order to vote. It says it on the website. We read it that you must have the Trident ID in order to vote. So it's rather interesting. But did they put your name on though?
They tell me hold on, right? And then we came back, and the gentleman came back and tell me, oh, my name is on the electoral voters list now. So the kid was take off. So he got out to student stories. He said that when he was told to take it off, you know what I'm saying? But how come that they had a better put back on my name?
Mm-hmm.
I had done no actually. I went to school, I took an occasion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's a lucky thing you call everybody out there. You need to call them. Call them.
It's true, that it's true. Because
Wow.
my advice to everybody, find out about the rights of the electoral voting and make sure that then is rated and everything is valued up to date. That's what I'm going to carry on.
Well, somebody said that they have a Trident ID and so it seems like it depends as Miss Electronic. I agree. You call tomorrow, they're gonna get a different story probably. But I'm not sure what's going on down there. But what I would say, regardless of whatever reason they give you, it is important, and I'm talking to myself too. I need to give them a call because everybody, you got to give them a call. You have to give them a call because you don't know what it is that they have up their sleeve. And as Mr. Thorne is saying, he believes that this is part of a grand scheme to steal the election. That's his view of it. Well, thank you so much for calling. Is there anything else you wanted to tell us?
Yeah, well, one thing more I have to say. The young fans are on the block. They need jobs. They don't need guns. They need jobs. Because if the young fellas don't get a jobs, that's the one's main source of getting income to support itself, the family, and itself. Because hungry man, everyone. They don't need drugs and guns. They need jobs. They need a future.
They need a future. Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for calling. Thank you. Very informative.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's no problem. And always welcome. We want with me, Marcia Weekes and everyone of the Royal Opposition and Democratic Party and all the Barbados.
Okay. God bless you. Have a great year. You will have a great year. We're speaking things into being.
Yes, positive, yeah,
all right, then, my brother. God bless.
Okay, remember that you just she tell everybody hello.
Yes, tell her good night and Happy New Year.
Okay, no problem. Happy New Year to everyone.
God bless. Love you all. Thank you.
Okay, all right, blessings.
Yes, thanks. Well, thank you, Teroni, for calling. This person is saying, Pedro Gemot is saying, his deceased girlfriend's name is on the list. Now, this one is different. However, a living person is off the list. So we're not sure what's happening. Mr. Murray, I see your hand is going up.
I think the best, this is where the organization of the party for the candidates comes into being. They are, like Mr. Thorne spoke about there, they are supposed to returning officers whose job it is, who's paid and appointed to oversee the registration of persons in each constituency over time, right? But a good, well-organized campaign, each candidate should have access to a voters list and go, that's where getting to know and know the persons. And as they go and canvass, they interact and find, are you on the list? If not, why not? Who's in the house? And that is one way of what they call clean up the list. So, and what out like now the exercise that has been gone into now has to be printed, and then it will be evaluated again, and people would have, when there's election, there's all over know this. You can object, you can transfer, there's still room and scope in the system for further refinement on the list. So what I would advise candidates do is to get to know their constituents, to get to know their numbers, their houses, each gap, each road, etc., and help the process. And that way, by policing the process, they can help enhance it and make sure it's fair and just.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Murray. We have a caller, and then we're going to go to Mr. Thorne. He's right there on the screen. Good night and welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
Hello, good night.
Good night. Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, sir.
President, I'm just calling to notify and make Barbadians understand what's going on. This is why people are not being placed on the voters list. Next thing, there are so many Ghanaians in Barbados with ID card that it's going to be a strange thing in Barbados because we are looking for the people coming from the Caribbean. But what nobody is knowing is that the problem we are going to get with the incoming voters is from Ghana. There are so many Ghanaians in this country with ID card and so forth.
How do you know that?
Well, how I know that?
Yes, sir.
I'm a Barbadian, and I know the people in Barbados that don't speak and behave like a Barbadian.
And you saw them with ID cards?
When you see them with ID cards, it's strange. Nobody is looking for the Ghanaian people the Amoka Ghanaian people in Barbados. We are looking for people from the Caribbean. This thing is a simple thing, but everything goes past the Barbadian. So the problem here is when we see the people in Barbados, we are looking for the sensations and the other members of the Caribbean, but we are not looking for people coming from Africa and having a Barbadian passport. I mean, a ID card. So it isn't a thing, but they have the Trident ID card, because they are coming to the country.
Yes.
We that here that refuse to get the Trident ID card, they are the people who are being victimized. Good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you. Thanks for calling. Thank you. That is very interesting. I remember there was a video of Vincentian was saying that she was somewhere and saw there are others who came to get their ID. But I mean, if the laws are there, remember we went through all of that on the show where after 6 months, if you're a non-Caribbean person, based on the laws that the legislations that were passed and so on, with the one October 1st, you can become a citizen, or start the process. Let's say we have another caller. Let's get connected. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
Good night, Marcia Weekes. This is Judy Jokes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and a very nice Christmas also. I hope you spent a very nice Christmas too.
Yes, I did.
Yes. Another thing too. I went and tried out the car for the city. I got changed the car. I didn't know what was going on. Had I for sure, I wouldn't know what was going on in Barbados. I went and get the Trident out the car, but that don't mean because I got Trident out the car, I can vote for BLP. My vote still going DLP, Ralph Storm and he group. Nobody else.
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody else. I am a strong Democratic Labour Party person, and nobody can take that from me.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So you have a pleasant day. Enjoy the rest of your New Year's, and don't eat too much because you're getting a little fat in your face. So the can't take the damn out of Judy.
Judy, but
they would like to try.
Judy, it's true.
They would like to try, but they can't get that.
Listen.
You have a pleasant day. Tell me.
Yeah, listen, I was telling you, you are right. You see all these cheeks here? It's black cake. It's black cake and ham. And Mr. Murray said,
it's not for you like that. So he tell you want more ham, sweet bread. Sweet bread, the thing is flat here. Oh.
And my husband make the best sweet bread. So you are right. It's true.
I don't know. Because I eat Mr. Weekes sweet bread already.
Yes.
I mean, peace more right now.
Judy, I love you. Thank you so much.
Can't stop me from loving you. And the team, you all have a pleasant night too.
Thank you,
Mr.
Judy.
Marie and Mr. Bob.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, caller.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The caller and tell me that I'm fat. Oh, no. Well, that's my people. We're honest here on the Marcia Weekes Show. That's what we do. We educate, we motivate, we mobilize, we agitate. Trust me, I go walking tomorrow. I'm motivated, Mr. Murray. No more of your sweet bread and ham, Mr. Murray. I'm done with it. You let this woman call me and tell me I'm fat on the show.
But I know in Barbadian culture, it would be insulting for a man to tell a woman she's putting on weight, she get a fat, right? Is it art for a woman to tell another woman that? That is a sexist situation.
It is. Well, it's a Caribbean thing. People don't see it for so long. And they say, "Why you look so fat?" Mr. Bob.
You're getting big enough.
Yeah. Yes. But it's all in jest. I love you, Judy, and that was actually real funny. But let's go back. Dave, go to the video where we've been trying to play this video. Dave, go right ahead.
The EBC, the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, is an independent body which speaks by itself, for itself, and has that sole and exclusive authority to speak for its activities. The government, I'm sorry, I make the charge that the government has been intermeddling in the affairs of the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and I say this. It is to our certain knowledge that postmen were hired to carry out an enumeration exercise. Now I'm asking the government, who gave the order for postmen to do an enumeration exercise? Was it the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, or did the government participate in that exercise? And did the government promise to pay them $3,000 to conduct an enumeration exercise? And did the government say to them that they would be incentivized with an additional payment of $1,000 if they did it quickly? I'm speaking in simple language today. In other words, they were given a month to complete and told that if they could complete the enumeration exercise in less than a month, the pay to them would be increased from $3,000 to $4,000. This is a transactional government. And this is a government that is continuing to make transactions at the expense of democracy and justice in this country. This is a very serious time. These are dangerous times. And I repeat, this is a government that continues to flout the laws of this country. This is a government that continues to disrespect the principles of separation of powers. This is a government that continues to blur the lines between its own authority and power, and the sole and exclusive authority and power of other constitutional agencies. I'm referring to the Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And prior hereto, I have referred to the office of the Auditor General. But what has been the result of this? A few Sundays ago, I think one of the newspapers in this country published a list with 8,291 names, correct, Senator? 8,291 names. At the time, we charged this government with seeking to micromanage, and I go further, to steal the election. And I make no apology for that. The Prime Minister can travel as far as she wants and accuse us of defaming this country. But I say the evidence is there that this government has been involved in the internal management of the EBC, as evidenced by correspondence coming out of the Cabinet Office, as evidenced by certain persons in this country making authoritative statements for and on behalf of the Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We say that. And we say that transactions have been entered into with public officers who are not normally concerned in the business of the EBC, and that they have been incentivized with a rushed enumeration exercise. There's a gentleman in this room called Mr. Ainsley Granger. We're happy to report that he is a candidate for St. Michael East for this party and doing exceptionally well. He was placed on a list of 8,291 persons who were to be disenfranchised. He was to be deprived of the right to vote. Of course, he has sought to correct that. Now, when you subtract Mr. Granger's name from the 8,291, you come to 8,290. We cannot be sure that those 8,290 persons have taken any steps to have their names placed back on the register. There are persons who live overseas. There are persons who live here. Mr. Granger's name stands as evidence that the exercise has been characterized by irregularity. How many more of those 8,291 persons are to be disenfranchised? In other words, how many of them are to be prevented from voting? We don't know. And that's why we have made the charge that it seems that this government is on a trajectory to disenfranchise. And if we don't want to use that word, to prevent people from voting. And we will repeat the charge. The Prime Minister of this country feels we are repeating the charge that this government has involved itself in an election process of registration in breach of the law, and it seems that some persons will be disenfranchised.
Yes. Quite interesting there. Miss Electronics is saying, thank you for your service to Barbados, Mr. Thorne. There was a very important call that was coming through, and we had to ask this person to just wait until Mr. Thorne is finished. If you can you give us a call back, please? If you can give us a call back, somebody in the chat, there was a Judith in the chat who said that she had okay, she's calling. Let me let her tell you her story. I think this is very important here, Mr. Murray, that we do this and hear from the people themselves what's going on. Hi, good evening and welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
Hi, good night, Marcia. I made a comment in the live chat, and I believe you wanted me to explain.
Yes, ma'am.
I received a notice about time goes so quickly. It could have been, it was before October 31st, for sure. So it could have been September or August, September, asking me to call ECB that they had visited and they didn't get, they didn't find me at home. So I called, it had a number on it as far as I remember, and I spoke with a gentleman at length. We spoke for 15, 20 minutes or more. I gave him chapter and verse on myself, everything he wanted to know, my ID, everything, my number, my address. We spoke on what constituency, everything. And then I went on to tell him about my deceased ancestors. I told him my mother, 12 October coming, last October would have been 12 years. And so this was before October because
So let me ask you a question. You called him because you were not on the list or your mother was on the list?
No. I got this notice. That was my question in the live chat. I got a notice asking me to call. But way back, as I said, August, September. And I called. And all the questions, I answered everything. I gave him chapter and verse on myself. Then I went on to tell him that about, as I said, my deceased ancestors, my mom and dad. I told him I have the newspapers still with her name because they do from time to time, not every year, but every, I don't know how many years, but they put out a list of deceased people. And I did see her name and I checked that newspaper. Then I told him I have not seen my father's one up to now as yet. I haven't seen any list come out whereby I might have missed that, but anyhow. So he, at the end of it all, he said, wow, your memory is better than mine. So I assumed that everything was okay. He had all the information needed to make sure that I was on the list. But what my question is, I received another notice here recently, within the last month or so, I guess, asking me to contact them again. So my question in the live chat was, do I have to contact them again? After all that I went through with this gentleman?
That's very interesting. I wonder what, I think you should call them. What was your name when you spoke with him? Did you inquire whether your name was on the list?
I didn't inquire if it was on the list, but the way he spoke to me, he gave me the impression that everything was okay, that it was on the list. Yeah, as I said, we spoke at length. We did. So I was a bit surprised to see this second notice come now. Again, I hear in more recent times telling me about, telling me to call the office again. I'm here looking there. It's somewhere here. Here it is. Yeah, it's a bigger notice than the first one. Barbados Electoral, Department, Electoral Department, Warren St. Michael. And they asked me, well, if I don't know, I just wanted to know from any of the panelists because I really, I said, why do I have to call again? But you figured out I should call again?
Yeah, well, I think if you want to make sure everything is okay, I would call again and I would let them know, well, I don't understand, at least complain to them that I spent 15 minutes on the phone and,
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
okay, well.
But, I'm glad you highlighted this, though. I'm glad that you highlighted this because people need to be very alert. And as Mr. Murray was saying, those that are representative or who are seeking to be representatives need to be very alert about what is going on. I'm even seeing here, caller, that Adrian Hines is saying that Ensley Griffith, even though he called them, this is what Adrian is alleging, that his name is still on the list of persons reported to be overseas and slated for deletion. Even though Mr. Thorne, am I right here? Adrian, please call me Adrian, because I think these things we need to air them out because something sounds funny here.
Marcia.
They probably is not as competent. Mr. Murray, you wanted to say something to the caller?
Yeah, it's just like I mentioned.
We're not hearing you now. Let me let them, and then she will listen because it seemed to be some issue while the caller is on.
I was going to suggest that
of this notice and send it to you because as you know,
yes,
I had surgery on the 31st. I ain't going up there. I ain't even drive there yet. But anyhow, I'll take a screenshot of this notice.
Yes.
And send it to you. And if you want to read it, well, what people are getting might very well be this. But I'll take a screenshot and send it to you. You want me to hang up now?
Yes, please hang up now and send it.
Okay.
It might be helpful for somebody else. We've got to work out these things. Thank you so much for calling, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Okay.
We miss you. We miss you. Happy New Year.
We'll talk some more.
Yes.
Okay, then. Talk to you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
Okay.
Yes.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Marcia.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Murray.
I was going to suggest that Mr. Bob was a candidate or at one time, weren't you, Mr. Bob?
Yes, sir.
You have had practical experience with compiling, cleaning up a list, the process,
checking,
objective. So I'm saying that once a party is well organized and once its branches are functioning, once its candidates are dealing, you deal with people in the neighborhood who knows the streets, and you do a person by person. A lot of this anxiety can be diminished if this process works.
Yes.
And people having to go up there and call that is an essential. If once the process, the traditional system, unless they abandon it, right? But you can speak for your own experience, Mr. Bob.
Yes, you have to. You have to have people from each community, and you get them to help you purge that list, and then you get your queries because as you go house to house, and you will make your notes. And if there are concerns, there will be also persons who want to get transfer,
right,
as well. And you walk with those forms as well to make transfers as well. And you make representation for those persons who still live in the constituency but do not appear on the list. So you, as the candidate and the party and the party will have a list that gives to every candidate. You are responsible to make sure that you know exactly what that list contains from every single neighborhood, every gap, and you can get your people who live there, and people will give you the information after who has died, who has gone overseas, who has moved out, and that kind of thing. You can even make queries of person who have left the constituency for a particular length of time, but still appear on the list, and you can object as well. So that is how you can go through your list. But it calls for a lot of work with individual candidates.
Yeah, let me just address something here, which is slightly different, because this person is he is the candidate, and he based on what he's not here, so we're discussing this outside of him being here, and he would have called them on his behalf. And I don't know if there's probably is a time, Adrian, in terms of them updating the list, but it's being said that his name is still there to be deleted.
January 31st, I think, is the next one that's supposed to come out.
January 31st. Okay.
But before I go on though, I want you to say something quickly. You know that that first circular that Judith was talking about, she would have noticed that somehow it came from the
Cabinet Office.
Government House.
From the government house.
Oh,
right.
Cabinet Office.
Cabinet Office. Okay. Because then that is where the confusion is. Because now that the EBC personnel is really dealing with it, you see, Cabinet Office. Then you will get the confusion. It had no right coming from there. That is not their job.
Right. Okay.
You see, Marcia, when that's a possible example of the cronyism we was telling you about.
Yes.
Where
yes.
people are put to places.
Hold the thought there. There's a call from Adrian Hines. Good night, Adrian. Happy New Year.
Same to you, Marcia. Same to Mr. Murray and Mr. Bell. Good night to the opposition. Yeah, I don't want to alarm you. This could be just a simple issue of the PDF document on the ECB's website not being updated. It could just simply be that. that I've gotten an email from them late December telling me that they have corrected the issue with me, because my name is also on the list, right? But my name is still showing up on this list. So it might be a case where, I don't know, at the end of January, when this exercise is supposed to be completed, that they will produce a new list, and that my name would be on the register. I still will call them to confirm what they have sent me via email. So this might be the same case with Ainsley, where it has been corrected but not published.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, understood. Understood. Great to hear your voice, and hope to see you, virtually, sometime soon. Okay. Thank you. So, is there anything else you wanted to say?
I can be available on Wednesday or Friday if you want.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Most definitely. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Bob is putting a thumbs up. All right. So I'll see you then, Mr. Hines. Thank you for that clarity. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Yes. Go. Yes, Mr. Murray, you're saying something? Go right ahead, sir.
I'm saying that the reason why I've been talking about stressing the role of the candidate and the party in contributing to cleansing this whole process and make sure it can take scrutiny and stand the test of time is that elections are won on elections day. Elections are won through the work done in your canvassing and cleaning up the list and registering people and making arrangements to pick up people. That is where, so this, what people are reacting to now is a good training ground and a lesson to people how they have to be vigilant and do the work to know. You have to know where you're supposed to know where your strengths and your weaknesses are in the constituency, where your numbers are. It's a whole analytical process that needs to be systematically undertaken. And I do not, and I would hate to think that in this day and age, with all the computers and whatnot, that parties might be going, or candidates might be going to constituency for the voters list, for the basic version that your Bible, for your is like the Bible of that constituency, right? Always, and it should pay close attention. In fact, from my experience, that used to be a specialist job of people in the branch who go very methodically and carefully. You report them, and then they want to do that. Don't. It is very tedious, boring work, but it's very essential. And I think the parties should pay attention.
Okay. Hang on there, Mr. Murray. Just hold that thought there. There is a caller on the line. Good night, caller. Happy New Year.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Marcia.
I know that voice. I know.
Best of health to everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yes.
Let me cut straight to the chase.
Yes.
I heard somebody earlier on speaking about we are looking for Vincentians and Dominicans, etc., to be on, but really and truly, he's been hearing the voices of Ghanaians on the ground, something like that. But I don't think he knows the difference between a Ghanaian voice and a Nigerian voice. But he's hearing an African voice. And strangely enough, somebody told me that the same thing last week. But the only thing rather than Ghanaians, they told me Nigerians. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. But what I would, Nigerians have been coming here and giving birth to the children so they could get citizenship, etc., etc., etc. And then I heard that there are many Nigerians in a certain institution. Anyways, a bit of advice, as Mr. Barbados has been saying, he went the turf. Mr. Murray has been around for a long time. I would tell, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but I would tell all the new candidates, whether you're them or an independent, it looks nice to walk with a big heavy list. That's to be kept at the office for the receptionists to go through. All right, alphabetically. That's not what you want right now. New people, you ask to have your list by box. You can have the program done so as to break it down into boxes. There are about 11 to 13 boxes. I know you would know, like PA1 in St. Philip, PA1, PA2, PA3. Get them like that. Then get your boxes broken down onto street so that you have Lucas Street, Ebenezer. You go right down by street by street, even if it's only 3-4 people living on that street. By now, if you're a candidate or you want to be independent, don't go and waste your money. You should have a box captain, somebody who is in charge of PA1. And then you should have people on streets, say taking 4 or 5 streets at a time. And it will jump out at you. If you're looking for an Adioki or Mbutu or ukulele, it will jump out at you as soon as you see it. You say, well, who this body is? You ask for, do you know this body? You know this body. And that is the way that you would, but don't hope to go through a whole list alphabetically, right, to find an Nzoko. You ain't gonna find it that easily. So get them done by streets. All right. And if you're running and you don't have a box captain by now, or things is too nice, and you should have, even if you don't have a formal office, there should be somewhere where you're meeting and your people are coming. And these are things. No, I will tell new candidates, again, I'm not speaking to anyone person, to refrain from, it looks nice and smart to be walking with your tablet and scroll. Nah. You get your paper sheet, scroll it up, mark it up. You could write anything on it. I don't like the look at that woman's face. No, he looked deceitful. No, go back there next week alone. All of those are things which you write on your papers, on your sheets, and you go back and you caucus every evening after a canvas. Right? Sometimes you net back in and you go in a shop. Shop is where you hear everything, Marcia. The ladies don't fit in well, but the ladies have emissaries that they send out who will park up in a shop a whole day. They tell the shopkeeper, listen, I hear a man about here named Mr. Mbutu. She said, who? I know that name. Somebody live that, I don't know him. And this is where now, within 2, 3, 4 weeks, you would have information that you as an individual or could go now and lodge and find out what exactly is happening and who has come off. That's the easiest way to find who has come on and who has come off, right? So I just thought that I would give you that bit of information to make matters easy. But for new candidates, please, by now, you should have had the end of year list. It's either the December 31st list. I think that's what I call it. And then you get another one in January, right? So you should have had a December 31st list at December 31st. And you should be able to work with that. But break it down into boxes, PA1, PA2, PA3, and then break it down into streets. And this is because if you don't have these captains, remember, in doing this now, these are the people who are going to work on election day, running the streets for you. And if they are not familiar with those by street, as the business said, then that's that. You're lost.
Yeah.
You're lost. You don't know who to send transportation for, especially when you're going to the rural areas, right?
Yes.
So by street serves several purposes. So I just thought I would slip that in, and it is easier to discern who has come on, who has come off. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
If you have a question, I would feel it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. We actually have another caller who was trying to call in. And as I did with Adrian, listen, you guys are so busy. I want to book you just come on for 30 minutes. I know you don't want to come on, but be ready for me for 30 minutes. I know,
I always wait for you, Marcia, but the thing about it is you're so heavily subscribed that you leave me there because you know you're going to come back.
Oh my God.
So that's how you do canvassers, good canvas.
No.
That's how you canvas.
We'll talk. We're going to talk.
I'll give you 30 minutes anytime.
Yes. Okay. All right, Miss. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Very well.
Bye. Bye. Yes. Somebody said, thanks, caller. Okay. All right. We had the caller who was trying just came off. That particular person, go ahead and call now. All right, so you can call now. And okay, there's a call, and I don't think that's that one. It's a different person, but let's go. Good night and welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. Good night. Can you speak up a little for us? We can't hear you. Can you hear him, Mr. Bob?
No.
No, we're not hearing you for some reason. You're very low.
And your panel.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep.
What I would like to say is that what Mr. Todd has said in relation to the postman join that program, that's 100% proof to that.
You're saying that the postman, you're agreeing with Mr. Thorne about the postman.
Yes.
And what do you think about it?
That's just my 2 cents. I don't want to get too worried,
But you just wanted to confirm that. Thank you so much, caller. Happy New Year. Okay, let me see if I can get that last caller. And guys, get ready for your final comment. Let me see if I could get that last caller who was calling. I'd like to make sure that they get through. Okay. As I called, get through to this last caller, everybody. I know what Mr. Bob and Mr. Murray is saying about the candidate helping to clean the list. And what I will also add is that if you got a letter to call. All right, do everybody gang up on it and do your part. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
Good night, Master.
Yes. Good night.
Yes, I want you to call Mr. Bowles and to know if he got my name on his list.
Who is this, Mr. Who?
Bowles.
Bowles. Who is that?
I can give you the number. I got a card notes for him.
Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, you're in Britain's Hill.
Well, he office in Britain's Hill.
Okay, I understand. All right, no problem. So what I'm going to do, because I know I owe you a call as well, but as you know, it was Christmas and we're doing a lot of family things. So I'm going to give you a call tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
All right. But good to hear you. You had a good Christmas?
I had a good Christmas. And I just we come over here, give me some food and macaroni pie and the pork and my house.
Oh, wow. You had a big party up there.
Very big for this event because they ain't got the store.
Oh, okay.
So they need my store. They need my oven and my store.
Well, there you go, community, and I'm sure you got some of the macaroni pie and the phone. That's how you live as a community.
But you know the person too, because the person is good to you all.
Oh, all right. Don't tell the name now. Don't tell the name.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, good to hear you, and I'm happy to know you had a great Christmas. Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah, and you too.
Okay.
New Year.
Yes. I'll give you a call. Okay, tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Bye-bye. Yes, I think everybody will be vigilant now. They're being very, very vigilant at this stage. Well, we've come to the end of the show. It's 4 minutes to 10, guys. You know, we're not going late like last night. Last night we couldn't end. But you know, we're gonna end off tonight. And I think that it was quite informative here tonight. Mr. Bob, any thoughts before we go?
From the last part of the show, it would be encouraging to get all those persons to even check for themselves, make the calls, ensure that they're on the voters list. We have some good information from both Mr. Murray and Mr. Gill to all candidates, and I'm keeping that in mind as well because it is not by chance that you win the election, it's by good planning. I'm also this opportunity to get our Barbadian people back to participating in the electoral process and see it as their responsibility to get out and participate. And I'm hoping that this show continues to encourage as many persons. Let us get back to 70% of persons or even more participating in the electoral process in the future.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bob. And as Mr. Murray is getting ready to give us his final thoughts for the night, I want to use this opportunity to remind you that we're on again on Wednesday. We need you to help us to get the word out that we're back on. There are lots of people who met me on the road and they said, for some reason, I no longer get a notice when you're on. YouTube doesn't tell me again that you're on. We know that when a lot of times when that happens, is that people are reporting us. And we know it's just the way it works. It's the algorithm. So what you have to do whenever you come on, you have to like. If you like the show, then it is telling the algorithm, right, that people like the show. So it doesn't matter how many people, people who might say they don't like it or complain to YouTube that they don't like it. The fact that you are liking it makes a difference. Share it. Tell others that the show is on. All right, because we need to make sure that we have our people back. There are people, some of you tell me that you can't even find it on YouTube. So they're complaining again. And once they complain, they put the show lower down. It's shadow banned. All right. And then you can't find the show. So you're going to have to help. Okay. It's important that you help. All right. Mr. Murray, your final words before we go. Thank you. Can you restart?
Yeah. I'll be the first to admit that in the 2022 fiasco election, I lost a lot of confidence in and respect for the Electoral and Boundaries Commission because of the failure, the refusal to accommodate the democratic rights of Barbadians who were incapacitated or not being able to function because of COVID to vote when other countries around had done it. But I think that having heard Mr. Babb, Mr. Gill, who called in, and myself, that there's no need to panic or overreact about these discrepancies because they're always somebody left on, they get on, they notice came too late, somebody. So they're always by their opportunities to rectify the situation up to a particular point in the process. So there's no need for overreaction or get too anxious. Just follow the process and make sure methodically it's followed. But like we all say, like the three of us said, a lot is dependent on the candidate and the party to organize the road for the candidate. Otherwise, like I said, election is won on election day. And you have to know where to go and who, like we said, otherwise you'll be shooting in the dark and you have no idea whether you'll win or lose. So it is not glamorous work like on a platform and that one, but it's methodical work which you have to oversee and make sure that person's doing it on your behalf. So until then, I will still have some faith in the Electoral and Boundaries Commission until I'm proven otherwise over the next several weeks.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Great advice. And I, again, just want to say, I know that I have to call them. So I was waiting to do all my Christmas stuff. I have to call because I have to make sure I'm on. If there's 1 year I'm voting, it's this year. I have been a changed one. I was one of those who said that I wasn't voting. And I tell you, this show has converted me. Because I remember being on the show, Mr. Bob and Mr. Murray and viewers, and saying I wasn't voting. And I got converted. I saw that, no, Marcia, you can't be on here talking every night about, what's going on and do nothing. That's being hypocritical. And I can't do that. I have to vote. And so I know a lot of you feel disillusioned, and we've been through that. Adrian, thank God for Adrian. He's done a tremendous job on that in trying to get some of you to to decide to vote. And I know there's some of you, you're still, not sure what you're going to do. The point is, as I said to you, when these were coming in, a lot of them we didn't know. You remember that? We didn't know who they were. We did not know who they were. But you were so eager in changing the government, and you voted to change the government. And a lot of you, you're seeing things that are not working out. You're not happy with what you're seeing. I say, you know what? You're not happy. Close your eyes and vote for a stick. Remove them. It's a principle of it. There's a principle, The principle. That's the only thing you have is your ex. But because we don't do coups, and we are not going to be taking people out of violence. No, the only thing you have really is your ex, and you've got to send a clear message to the people in power. All right. So I am voting. I am a converted one. I am voting, Mr. Bab. Yes, and I encourage everybody to vote. All right. God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Bab. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave, for all your work you're doing in the background there, and thanks to everybody who joined tonight. And I hope that there's something on this show tonight where you're educated about, you are motivated, you are mobilized, and you're agitated. And let me tell you something. We're going back on the streets very, very early. I just need to get the word from you. Do we go out concerning the anti-gang legislation? Is that what we want? This time we're asking for legislation. The people now asking for legislation. Is that what we want to do? Or is there something else that you want to go on the streets for? Let us know and we will prepare. All right. God bless you. This is all for the love of country. For the love of country. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bajan succeed. Well, here we now. This the people creed. Let go. Boy, when Labour lead, Bajans bleed. When Labour lead, we find we need. When Mia lead, we don't believe. Same old talk, same old scene. When Labour lead, Bajans bleed. When Labour lead, no room to breathe. When Mia lead, we can't achieve. Tell them no, the people grieve. Say progress, but who it feed? Promise sweet, but none succeed. Small man strain can't meet he need. Tell me again who really lead. Bills climb high, hope get lean. Talk sound good, but life still mean. Every day we toil and dream, still waiting on that brighter gleam. When Labour leaves, Bajans bleed. When Labour leaves, we find we need. When Mia leaves, we don't believe. Same old talk, same old scene. When Labour leads, Bajans bleed. When Labour leads, no room to breathe. When Mia leads, we can't achieve. Tell them now the people grieve. Forward, forward, but who we trust? Forward, forward, still eating dust. Mia leads, same old fluff. We tired now, enough is enough. Forward, forward, but who we trust? Forward, forward, still eating dust. Mia leads, same old fluff. We tired now, enough is enough. When Labour leads, Bajans bleed. When Labour leads, we turn we knees. When Mia leads, we don't believe. Same old talk, same old scene. When Labour leads, Bajans bleed. When Labour leads, no room to breathe. When Mia leads, we can't achieve. Tell them now the people grieve. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When Labour leads, Bajans bleed. When Labour leads, we find we need. When Mia leads, we don't believe. Same old talk, same old scene. When Labour leads, Bajans bleed. When Labour leads, no room to breathe. When Mia leads, we can't achieve. Tell them now the people grieve. When Labour leads, Bajans bleed. We got we need. When Mia leads, same old fluff. We tired now, enough is enough. The Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilize is the mode, that's the MR code. We growing, we know it.